Hello, hello, and good afternoon, teachers. No, magandang hapon po. It's a happy Monday. Sana happy, no? Kasi usually, lagi napapalaban tayo sa Monday. Parang ngayon
Correct.
nga, teacher pa, yung Monday, parang Friday pagod yung feels eh, no?
Oo,
Monday.
correct.
Lagi gano'n, di ko alam kung bakit, no? Monday has this way of surprising us in so many ways.
Parang you dread always coming into Monday. Tapos pag nandun ka na sa Monday, parang feeling mo, Monday pa lang.
Oo, Monday pa lang yung
Di
parang,
ba?
ang bagal ng oras, parang gano'n, no? So, good afternoon,
Oo.
teachers, and we hope that you're all doing well and you're fine. And thank you for joining us no, in our session for today. Okay? And siguro with that, Teacher Pa, would like to greet our teachers first in the chat, no?
Yes.
In our live chat right now. Okay? Good afternoon. Okay, so we'll start with Teacher Glenda Aloran, Teacher Beverly Joy Hao, okay? Teacher Jessie Ray Millamena, Pastor Manny Garcia, Teacher Aldrin Ponce, Teacher Ellie Austria, Teacher Syra Ramos, Teacher Maria Fe Zapata, Teacher Yolanda Flores. Yes, Miss Yulin, by the way, no, a great shout out to Miss Yulin. Teacher Pao, Miss Yulin is the president no of Unified Makati, which is I'm an advisor of
Wow.
ng Unified Makati. Okay? At sobrang dami ng projects na ng Unified Makati under the leadership of Miss Yulin Flores. Okay? So really great leadership from Miss Yulin. Hopeful talks. Good afternoon. Hopeful Monday din tayo. No? Teacher
Oo,
Nolly
correct.
Boy. Okay, good afternoon. And of course, to Teacher Manolita White. No? Manolita Oligon. Go ahead, Teacher Pao.
Yan. All right. So, greeting Teacher Jose Marie Carpena, who's looking forward to a very great session. I'm sure very good session, very great session to, Teacher Jose Marie. Teacher Gladys Canon, Teacher Christine Joan Carandang, Teacher Rhea Marie Robas, Teacher Lord Lena, Teacher Maria Ana Fe Sumalinog. Siyempre, shoutout Sir Jeffrey Beltran, Miss Carrie Abehuro, Miss Vina Malipot, Sir Chong Nol, Sir Leodigario Gimutaos, Ma'am Emmy Gonzalez, Sir Ritesh Kumar Sharma, Ma'am Gemma Rivera, Sir Lamberto Pilatan, Miss Maria Gypsy Desquitado, Miss Bella Lavendino, Sir Joseph Odelon Hermitanyo. We also have Miss Mary Grace Castillo, Ivan Jane, and ayun na. O, diba? Natapos natin, nabati natin silang lahat. Good
Good
afternoon.
afternoon, teachers. No, at maraming salamat po no for joining us today in this session. Okay, this will be again no, just like any other session. This will be an open sharing. Okay, of our ideas and understanding no, of different topics. In this case, we'll be talking about digitalization, and digital transformation in the context of education. Siguro yung pinaka-importanting aspect dito because we know that digitization and digitalization and digital transformation are all processes that are being applied no and are applied in the industries teacher Pao no. So ito yung mga madalas sa mga ano to, sa mga multinational companies on how they move no to the digital space. But how about education? Okay. How do digitalization and digital transformation nakakautal to no? Parang tongue
Yun
twister
nga,
no.
actually, gusto kong
In digital
malaman yung difference
transformation.
nitong pare-pareho kasi siya. Basta ang isang alam
Oo, di
natin,
ba?
lahat sila
Mukhang
DG
magkakapareho
ang
lang na.
tumutugon niyan.
Oo, tapos parang ano lang naman sila, parang pare-pareho na silang ginagamit no,
Oo.
interchangeably. Okay, so yan yung
Yes,
lilinawin
correct.
natin today because it's important to
Yan.
understand why they're different no and what's exactly they're supposed to do in this each of these processes. Okay? And siguro lang just to also give a context no at makapag-explain tayo sa mga teachers natin kay why it was supposed to be delivered. Nakita niyo naman no, edited yung date natin today. It's supposed to be delivered last November 20, 2 p.m. no, on our usual Saturday webinar. Kaya lang talagang pa-shoutout to po, Mary Grace Castillo. Shoutout po, Miss Mary Grace. Kasi ako na nag-shoutout, hindi na si Miss Pau. May special request kay Miss Pau eh. Na anyway, Teacher Pau, no, just to explain to our teachers, no, talaga pong in a way, feeling ko talaga bumigay na yung katawang lupa ko nung Saturday, no? Kasi as I mentioned to you last time, na I shared to my social media, that last week was a really jam-packed sa schedule. No? I had combined 6 hours of training with DICT on technology integration. I have a combined training session of 4 hours with DSWD. No, sorry, 6 hours then. No, for DSWD, I had classes in Ateneo. I had classes in UP as well. Not to mention the classes, my classes in Xavier. No, okay. So that all led no to my body, no, just giving up no on that time. And I felt that while the presentation is there ready, Teacher Pau, I was ready to deliver the presentation. I might not be able to explain it as well to our teacher or deliver and discuss it to our teachers. I might be shortchanging our teachers, no, if I had forced to deliver it last Saturday. Okay? And we don't do that, no, Teacher Pau. Alam naman natin yan. Sa Kaagapay Teacher Support, that's the last thing that we would like to do, to shortchange our teachers. Okay, so we'd rather postpone it and move it to another date. No? At nakapagpahinga ako kahapon, Teacher Pau. Like a
Yun,
full rest.
mabuti
Okay?
nga yun.
Like
At
natulog ako ng mahaba. Oo.
very good. Yan din
Oo.
kasi yung message na gusto nating sabihin sa mga
Yes,
teachers na if you
correct.
need to rest, rest. So, kung tinatawag na talaga ng katawang lupa mo na pumunta ka na sa kama mo, gawin nyo po, no? So
Yes,
that,
Teacher.
kasi mas, I think, no, you feel maybe nakaka-guilty, papahinga ako ng 10 minutes, pero sa 10 minutes na yun, dami ko na magagawa. Pero mind you, teachers, get that 10 minutes and hindi lang 10 minutes yung magagawa mo, 20 minutes more yung
Correct.
kaya mo pang gawin because of the rest you gave yourself. So,
Yes.
yan ang pinaka-importante. Yan
Indeed,
sabi
no,
ni
Teacher
Sir
Pao.
Jeffrey, ayan, no, sabi ni Sir Jeffrey, DICT training pa lang, ubus na.
Yes,
Dami.
no. So yun, teachers, no, so I hope that you do understand. And Tamas Teacher Pao, no, that's also us sending you the message that if we need to rest, then we do rest. If we we also deserve, no, much deserve that rest. Even if sobrang dami natin kailangan gawin, no. Self, no, will, sabi nga nila, you can't pour from an empty cup. Okay? Siguro yun yung pinaka-importanting message doon. Okay? So, teachers, kaya let's now get into this session. Hindi natin kailangan ng introduction dahil ako lang naman to.
Yun na nga eh. Si Sir Franco
yours,
na to. So,
yours truly, teachers na. So, let's get into this session on digitization, digitalization, and digital transformation. Let's talk about how and why it's important, no, in education. Maraming salamat, Teacher Pao. We'll see you in
see
a
you
while if
later.
it time permits, no, kung kaya pa ng schedule ng Teacher Pao. Sobrang busy rin po syempre ni Teacher Pao. Okay, pero if you can join us to our in our question and answer and panel discussion later on. Okay? So yun, maraming salamat. And just to answer, no, Teacher Lord Lena and Teacher Ivan Shane concern, no, about yes po, no, it's pre-selected ng DICT, no, na ini-screen nila yung applications. Okay? And but I think Teacher Lord Lena and Teacher Ivan Shane, no, don't worry because okay, if you were not selected on the first event, no, there's a big chance that you'll actually be selected because you're the next in line basically on the next training session. No? Our next training session is scheduled on December 10, 11, and 12. Okay? That's also with CPD points once again. I just don't know how big the CPD points for that training session, but that will be on PBL. Okay, so I'll be discussing project-based learning and problem-based learning on that next session. Okay? Yeah. So, intay lang po tayo. Kaya since you've registered, more or less you are next in line. So, I'll see you, Teacher Ivan Shane, Teacher Lord Lena, and Teacher Jeffrey Beltran, no, on our next session. So, ano lang po tayo? Siyempre, no, hindi talaga ma-accommodate lahat. No? Okay? But anyway, so let's now proceed now with our session for today. This will be on our discussion on digitization, digitalization, and digital transformation. Once again, I'm Franco Nicolopiadon. I'll be your sharer. No? I'd like to emphasize on that one because I will not claim no full expertise on this topic. No, this is something that that we all share no based on our own experiences, okay? Shaped no by our own experiences, okay? And our interaction no, with technology in education. But I hope that I get to share no whatever I have no and whatever I understand about these three processes no, these three different very distinct processes on digitization, digitalization, and digital transformation. Hindi na po ako nautal no kasi talagang matagal kong practice yung pagsasalita ng tatlong words na yan. Okay, so maraming salamat. Okay. So, session objectives, okay, to discuss the importance of digital transformation in education, okay, to evaluate the importance of digitization and digitalization as steps for digital transformation, and of course, to situate digital transformation in the post-pandemic education discussion. Siyempre, ang theme po natin ngayong November, no, is to talk about the 21st century education. Okay, at the same time, to talk about the post-pandemic. Okay, because these are two contexts that are now defining where are we going, what are we going to do, and how are we supposed to do things in education. Okay, so mahalaga po, no, na pag-usapan natin itong tatlong proseso na to in order to continually shape and redefine the post-pandemic education. Okay. So I hope that those three objectives are very clear, no, for our session for today. Okay. So there are three, areas we're going to look at today. We'll first, no, look at, no, why proceed in digital transformation. Siyempre, unang tanong natin, no, in the first place, why are we supposed to pursue digital transformation? And then after that, no, we'll talk about digitization and digitalization, no, towards digital transformation. You'll see later on why it seems like it's that the digitization and digitalization are steps towards digital transformation. And of course, okay, we'll proceed with digital transformation. We'll talk about certain steps, factors, and things that might define, no, will not completely, of course, no, we're not going to create, no, a digital transformation roadmap today, or digital transformation plan for today, but we hope that we can shed light, no, on our quest for digital transformation. Okay. Okay, so let's I hope that those are all clear, no. Please do let me know in the chat if I'm speaking too fast, no. Parang so I can pace myself, okay? So why proceed with digital transformation in education? I think that's the biggest question, no, okay? What brings us here, and what are the driving forces when we talk about digital transformation? For a while. Okay, so that's also one of our, we have to look at the motivation. We have to look at why it's important, okay, to proceed to digital transformation. Okay, so let's first discuss the context, okay, where we're coming from. Okay, when we talk about digital transformation. Okay, so the first one is, okay, our reality pre-digital age. Okay, so pag pinag-uusapan natin ng digital space, no, and digital age, no, this is actually what comes into mind, no, pre-digital age, no, our workplaces, no, filled with papers, filled with printed papers, okay, documents, okay, that we used to print and we used to use in our line of work, okay, regardless kung education man yan or sa ibang sectors, okay. Pero ito yun, ang daming dokumento na kailangang i-file, ilagay, okay. And this is something that had to change, no. We could no longer operate, no, in a workplace, no, na naka-anchor sa printed papers, okay. We have nothing against printed papers. It just so happened that printed papers, no, are very rigid, okay? Does not offer you that much flexibility when it comes to usage, okay? So converting, no, or proceeding with digitalization, okay, and digitization of your documents actually is very important, no, in our context in the 21st century, as more and more, okay, processes, no, people are moving into the digital space. So it's as if like magkakaroon ng big disconnect, no, or magkakaroon ng disconnect kapag ang mga documents natin remains to be printed while everyone else, no, our clients, the people we're supposed to work with, are all in the digital space. So isa yan sa biggest driving force natin, no, yung transition from these kinds of documents into digitalized documents. Okay, and of course, nandiyan din yung context ng digital world, no, of the 21st century. Something we can't deny. Okay, something na hindi na pwedeng sabihin hindi nandito, or something na hindi natin pwedeng sabihin that this is it's not something that we can avoid. Okay, it is here. Okay, digital world is the present. Okay, and as educators, no, we also have to continuously adapt, no, to the present and to the demands, no, of our society, and the society now operates in a digital space. Okay, so there's again, no, as I mentioned, there will be a big disconnect if we can't connect to the digital space or to the digital world. Okay, so all our processes, no, as educators had to also adapt to that this circumstance, no, of the digital world. Okay, and that's your biggest perhaps na driving force when it comes to digitalization and digital transformation. Okay? Although we can always mention that there are certain advantages and disadvantages when it comes to the digital world. Okay? At alam natin yan. Okay? So when it comes, for example, to advantages, okay, access to information has been expanded, no? Widely, okay? Hindi tayo nabubuhay sa panahon na kung saan we have limited access to information. Sabi nga nila, no, everything can be Googled, okay? That is actually a reflection on how much access to information we have, okay? Including our students, okay? So it's no longer the same time that we, for example, no, when I was in grade school, okay, back in the 90s, no, that my only source of information was my teacher. Okay, that's the reason why before in the 90s, you really have to pay attention to your teacher, you know, copy everything, no, they verbatimly, okay, to be able to catch up with the lessons. Okay. And lucky for those who are considered rich kids, okay, sino yung mga rich kids natin dito na merong encyclopedia na may ibang source of information. Okay? But otherwise, if you have no access to the encyclopedia, your only access would definitely be your teacher. Okay? And that's how and what pre-digital age, no, is access to information. Pero ngayon, access to information, everyone has access to information. Okay? Everyone can Google everything. Okay? Um, even our students. Okay? And that also changes the way we present or we conduct the teaching and learning process. Okay? That's the reason why more so, okay, na hindi na pwedeng recall and remembering ang lessons natin today. Okay? Our lessons, no, should be driven, no, to the higher order thinking skills, because remembering and recalling does not really serve that much I don't know, tension when it comes to or leverage, no, in leveraging the learning process, no, okay, of our students, or the development of our students. Okay? Second is communication. Okay? The digital space, no, change how we communicate. This is, okay, what we're doing right now. Okay, is actually a perfect example of how communication was changed. Can you imagine delivering a talk like this, no, to people from different places in the country? That's unthinkable in the last maybe 3 decades ago. Okay, but it was made possible by digital space. No, collaboration, okay, was also made. I don't know. Was not really made possible, but was intensified by the digital space. No, now we can collaborate on documents without seeing each other. Okay, I could send you a document right now, and we can make a document all together, all of us here in the live stream. Okay? That's how collaboration now in the digital space. And of course, yung transformed engagements, no, iba na ngayon ang connections. Okay? The way people interact with each other in the digital space is so different, okay, compared to before. Okay? Sabi nga before, no, pag meron kang gustong ka-date, no, ang term pa namin before was eyeball. Okay? Kailangan mong maka-eyeball. Okay? And I think you can all relate, no, yung sa mga mga nabuhay sa 90s. Pag meron kang ka-penpal, kaya ka meron kang ka-textmate, no, ka-eyeball, ka mag-eyeball. Kaya pero ngayon, you can do that Facebook Messenger, Zoom, Google Meet, no, video conferencing, and you don't need, there's really no need for an eyeball. Okay? But of course, there are also some, no, certain disadvantages. No? Huwag natin kakalimutan yan. Okay? Yung loss of privacy was also provided by the digital space. No? There's really nothing public in the digital space. No? The moment you go digital in the digital space, no, expect that your information could easily be accessed by other people. Okay? There's a possibility, not easily, but there's a possibility. Okay? And of course, no, yung concept ng data piracy, just recently, no, baka lang po nagtatanong tayo, I have a friend, no, that his Facebook account was recently hacked. At ngayon po, no, by the way, nagbago na ng protocol si Facebook, no, ng sa pagdating sa data piracy, no, or sa data theft din actually. Okay? Kapag merong suspected, okay, or suspected or like unusual, okay, or abnormal activity in your Facebook account, Facebook will lock your account, okay, even without your request. Okay, and you'll have to present, no, data information, okay, valid ID, in order to verify and reactivate your account. Okay, a good friend of mine just recently experienced that. Okay, and of course, cyber crimes, no, is also happening. Mga scams, okay, cyberbullying, okay, And siguro perhaps no, one of the biggest disadvantage of the digital space is yung social media noise. Okay? Kaya po minsan 'di ba yung you wanted to work but you are so distracted by Facebook, TikTok, by YouTube, by all other social media that's in the internet no because of the ease of access no. That's also actually one of the disadvantages okay, of um of um of digital space. Okay? So that's clear, no? And we are all good with that, no? And we have a clear understanding no, of this advantages and disadvantages okay, of the digital space. Okay? Okay, so let's now proceed with digital transformation first. I-contextualize mo natin, okay? Yung ating digital transformation. No? Bakit natin ba kailangan talaga or what's the relevance or what's the context of the digital transformation, okay? So when we talk about digital transformation, no, we're actually basically talking about this concept, okay? It is the cultural, organizational, and operational change of an organization. Okay, so may binabago ka, okay? So when we talk about digital transformation, you are changing how you are doing things. Okay, that's at the core of digital transformation. Okay, so basically, when you do digital transformation, you are upsetting the status quo. You are upsetting the usual. Okay, you are creating new norms. Okay, in doing things. Okay, in the industry or ecosystem through a smart integration of digital technologies, processes, and competencies across all levels and functions in a staged and strategic way. Okay, so let's emphasize on that one as well, no? That digital transformation is not just about changing things. It's not just about introducing new norms, okay? But rather, digital transformation also takes into account that you are going to use digital technology. Kaya nga siya digital transformation, okay? And siguro, the last thing no, about this definition of digital transformation is the idea that it's a stage and strategic way. Staged in a way that there are levels no, to actually get into the digital transformation. Hindi siya like in a rush, okay? Or hindi siya like minamadali na process no ng digital transformation. And of course, that's also it's also no includes okay, strategic way. There are specific ways no specific steps okay in order to proceed to digital transformation. It takes planning okay to proceed to digital transformation. It can't just be just like a whimsical okay attempt no to digital transformation na one day you like woke up and you said I want to like digital transform our institution. That can't happen. Okay, digital transformation takes time, takes resources, okay, takes planning, takes designing altogether. Okay, so lahat ng mga bagay na yan kailangan nating i-consider no when we talk about digital transformation. Okay, another definition that actually also struck me no when we talk about digital transformation is this one by Ed Clark in 2018, and he said that transforming an organization's core business okay, to better meet customer needs by leveraging technology and data. Okay, so in a very simple terms, okay, the idea okay, of digital transformation is so that you could meet the customer's needs. Okay, mamaya pag-usapan natin yan in the context of education. Okay? Kasi syempre, this is the context, no? This definition is in the context of industries of commercialization. Okay? But you will see later on that there are actually parallelisms no? Okay, in this definition. Okay? And understanding of digital transformation. And of course, no, very consistently, yung paggamit ng technology plus data whenever you are okay, attempting a transformation. Okay? So napaka-importante niyan. Okay? These two important mechanisms of digital transformation. Okay? So if that's clear, no, and hope, and again, if you have insights, put that in the chat, no, and we will check that out later on. Okay, crucial components of digital transformation. Okay, so we have people, processes, and tools. Yes, no, isa sa misconception, okay, or biggest misconception natin about digital transformation is that it's all about introduction of new tools. No, your digital transformation okay, is assisted no, by the introduction of new tools. Okay? But at the same time, when you introduce new tools, it means also altering certain processes. Okay? Bakit mo in-introduce itong bagong tool na to? It's because gusto mong magbago ng process. Okay? And second, okay, digital transformation also takes into account no changes no or okay of your personnel. So kailangan pati yung mga personal natin employees okay in that institution should be properly trained in order to do or to carry on with the digital transformation. Digital transformation does not happen on its own. Okay, there's this all of these factors no tools, people and processes should all come together in order to actually initiate a digital transformation. So it's not an easy task. Okay? That's the reason why you can't like do this overnight. No, you can't like proceed with digital transformation just because it is no or you would like to rush it. Okay? Digital transformation takes time, gradually, in a very strategic manner. Okay, and we'll talk about that later on. Okay, about how to proceed with digital transformation. Okay, now that we know that the relevance definition okay, of digital transformation, okay, there are also certain benefits, no, of digital transformation. Okay, again, do not be confused. No, this model is only applied on the bigger context of digital transformation, which is the industries. Kaya po ang terms dito ay empowered employees, okay, engaged customers, okay, and you have transformed products, okay, optimized operation. Mamaya po, we will apply that in education. What does it mean, okay, of these benefits of digital transformation into the education? But again, essentially, that's still the same. You have empowered employees, engaged customers, transformed products, and optimized operations. Those are the 4 benefits of digital transformation. And these are also the reasons why we're supposed to pursue digital transformation. Okay, if we want no all of these things happening in our institution, okay, in our context, that would be education. Okay, and when we talk about digital transformation, this is not also just one step. We don't like jump into digital transformation and that's it. Okay, digital transformation actually takes into account 2 crucial steps into digital transformation. Okay, and these are the 2 concepts that are actually in the title no, in our presentation today: digitization, digitalization, and digital transformation. Okay, actually, these 3 are connected processes. Okay, so when we talk about digitization, we're basically talking about conversion, okay, of data, okay, into computer readable files. Okay. So the ones and zeros, okay, are basically the language, okay, that you're going to convert it. Okay. So for example, you convert a book into an audiobook. You are digitizing. Okay. You converted, for example, a print of a file no into a PDF. You are digitizing. Okay. So those are examples no, of digitization. So when we are converting, we're simply converting files okay, into a digital format. That's what we call digitization. Okay, so let's be clear with that. That's the first step. Of course, okay, why is this the first step? It's simply because we can't proceed with digitalization until we are completely, we have completely migrated into the digital space. Okay? Kasi when we proceed to digital transformation, okay, much of your files no will be important. Your data will also be important. Okay, when we talk about no digital transformation, we can't proceed with digital transformation until we are anchored on this pre-digital age documents. No, so if we want, for example, to really usher digital transformation, you'll have to start with digitization. Okay, and of course, okay, the second one is digitalization. Okay, the second level is all about adaptation. Okay, we are now adapting technology in order to proceed with digital format files or processes. Okay, ibig sabihin, kapag nag-adapt ka na ng technology in digitalization, you are now relieving yourself into the conversion level. So ibig sabihin, more and more, no, as we progress, okay, into the digitalization, there's no longer a need for conversion because you have applied technology so that in the first place, your files no, and your documents and your processes are digitalized. That's your digitalization. And of course, that's going to lead no, to digital transformation wherein this is still in the context of business, industries, pero mamaya pag-uusapan natin yan in the context of education. Ano, okay? Until, of course, we reach to a point wherein technology are so integrated no, into the system okay, that everything actually flows within the digital space, assisted with technology. That's now your digitally transformed institution. Okay, so that's your 3 levels no And these are very important levels, no, and stages of digital transformation. Okay. So I hope that there's no questions, no, and I hope there are no concerns. Okay. If there are, please do let me know in the chat, no, and we'll address that in a little while. Okay. So in a way, we can also look at these three levels, no, in this model, no. Okay. So we have the first one, much of the bulk, no, of digital transformation happens at the digitization level, okay, wherein we are converting files. Okay. Now on the second level, there should be less digitization happening because we have digitalized the process. Okay. So we're using technology and we have expedited, no, the processes. And of course, okay, we have now completely, no, achieved our goal, no, in the digital transformation once we have become more client oriented. Okay, because our processes, no, are able to answer, are able to adapt, no, to the needs of our clients, okay, to answer what their needs are, etc. Okay, so again, no, teachers, wag mo na tayong malito. All of the models I'm presenting right now are in the context of business and industries. Okay, mamaya pa natin siya i-apply into education. We're just trying to contextualize, no, why there's a need to proceed with digitalization, okay, or digital transformation. Okay. So now, is digital transformation an option or a necessity? I'd like to hear your opinions. Okay. So let us know in the chat, no, whether it's an option, okay, can be or cannot be approached, okay, or is it a necessity? Should all institutions, including education, approach a digital transformation? Okay. So I'll be waiting. May konting delay lang ako syempre no, sa ating YouTube na sa ating StreamYard, okay? But I'll be waiting for that later on, okay? But for now, let me proceed, no, while I'm waiting for all of your responses in the chat, no, whether it's an option or necessity. Lagay nyo lang po option or necessity, okay? So let's now look at the two key steps, no, in digital transformation, no, digitization and digitalization. Okay, and these are again, no, crucial key steps towards digital transformation. Okay, so let's take on one at a time. Okay, so going back, no, pagbidalikan natin yung model na pinag-usapan natin kanina. Okay, so digitization basically again takes into conversion. Okay, digitalization, adaptation, and digital transformation. Now everything is being created within the digital space and everything's being created, no, with the assistance of technology. Okay. So when we in practice, no, this is the difference between digitization and digitalization. Medyo nakakautal pa rin talaga si digitization, no. We have, no, again, when we are digitizing, we are converting. Okay, so converting files to PDF, turning printed books to audiobooks, okay, recording meetings into a video, saving files, no, into a digital format. You are digitizing. Okay. And of course, we also have digitalization cases, say, for example, no, automating document production and sending, collaborating in a project with an online document, okay, and creating templates in sending email. Those are some examples, no, of digitalization. You are now using technology in order to expedite the process. Okay. You are now increasing productivity and efficiency, no, using technology. Okay, and of course, taking into account that the idea of digital space. No, so much of the things, no, that you're doing, no, are digital space ready. Okay, that can be used and can be utilized in the digital space. I think that's one of the big, I don't know, perhaps one of the essential questions we have to ask. No, are your processes able to produce, no, output ready for digital space? No? If not, then it could be something that we have to think about, no, when we talk about digital transformation. Okay. Okay, so ang dami ko na nakitang answers, no, necessity and option, no. Again, those are all our opinions and our perspective, no. For now, we'll all respect all of those opinions. Okay. So importance ng digitalization, why change your process? Bakit natin kailangan basagin ang status quo? Okay? Why do we have to introduce new norms? Okay? Why do we have to change things if it actually works? Okay? And these are some of the reasons why there's a need for that. Okay? And perhaps our first, no, our first consideration, okay, when we think about digitalization, okay, why we have to go for digitalization is that number one, no, digitalization, no, changes how we access information. Okay? now that there is digital space, no, there is also that change on how we access information. Information is no longer just accessible, no. For example, on printed things, okay? It's not all anymore just accessible to people, no, speaking about it, no. For example, kahit ngayon, okay, now that you're listening to me about digital transformation, okay, you can actually read it, like research about it, like look into the internet, no, look for um, journals about it, etc. No? Information are highly accessible um, through digitalization. Okay? Second, as we mentioned kanina, communication. Okay? It changes how we communicate. No? Okay? We are no longer limited by spaces. We are no longer limited by wires. Okay? For that matter, no, even for example, no, kahit yung mga text before is has already change how we communicate with each other. Okay, more so right now with smartphones, with tablets, with internet, etc. All of this have changed how we collaborate with each other. And sorry, communicate with each other, and of course, working with others. No, have also changed, and all of these things, no, are highlighted, emphasized, no, under a digitalized process. Okay, if we do not like digitalize our process, no, we will be missing a lot of the advantages of the digital space, among of which no are these three. Okay, and of course, okay, proceeding to that, no, digitalization also in a way help us eliminate no redundancies, no, in producing documents. Okay, kasi minsan kapag before digitalization, no, okay, some documents are paulit-ulit. Okay, we created it now, we're going to create it later again. Okay, but with digitalization, no, since our files are digitized, no, we can easily format them, reformat them, reuse them, etc. Okay, so we remove that redundant process, no, of creating documents. Okay, plus yung shortening of communication systems. Okay, we can easily no work on documents no without that very long process. I could still remember no when I started working in my school before. Okay, that for example, test paper, when we create a test paper, the test paper goes through us first, okay, for editing, then goes to our team leader for editing again, then we edit it again, we'll pass it to our supervisor, comments, edit again, we pass it to the principal, edit back again, no, that kind of process no is very tiring and very tedious. Pero ngayon, okay, for example, you can produce like a document, no, like for example your examination draft. Okay, you can share it to your co-teachers, to your supervisor, to your principal, all together, and they can actually work. No, you can actually work on it already simultaneously in real time. That kind of communication chain has been removed by digitalization. Okay, or could be removed by digitalization. Of course, nandiyan din yung tinatawag nating better informational exchange. Okay? Kasi before, di ba, pag minsan pang hirap maghanap ng information. Pero ngayon, okay, with the advent, for example, of Google Sites, okay, YouTube, okay, Google Drive, no, information can be accessed, no, in so many ways, no, in a very progressive way, okay? Na hindi natin kailangan ng, for example, na magpa-print pa or kaya maglagay sa USB ng mga files natin to be able to share it. Now, files, especially in the cloud storage, could easily be shared no across different platforms, okay? Regardless of time, space, and I don't know. Of course, connection will matter, pero still, no, we can still access no information in a different way, in a much better way today. Okay? Ngayon pa lang, for example, pag nag-set up ka ng Google site for your classes, no, you can invite your students, okay? And you can communicate like information. Google Classroom is also a way, no, on how informational exchange, no, was changed by digitalization. Okay, reduce operational cost, no, and we will also significantly reduce operational cost, especially for example for the printing no, of papers. Okay, or documents, no, and all other processes, no, digitalization will bring a more efficient way of processing things, and that will soon reduce no operational costs. Okay? Hopefully, it gets to be added no to the teachers' benefits and salary. Okay, and also prevents human error. Okay, yes po no, teachers. Okay, you are all very efficient. Okay, very productive. Okay, and definitely very competent no teachers no. Pero tatandaan din natin na tao lang po tayo. Okay? Magkakamali at magkakamali tayo. Palalo na pag pagod na tayo, okay? At one point or another, you will commit mistakes, no? But if your processes are digitalized, you will be able to prevent all of those things, or those things, no? Not prevent, maybe, no, but minimize, okay? Because of course, even digitalized processes or automated processes could still be subjected to errors, okay? Pero at least at a very minimal accepted, no, standard. Maraming salamat, no, Teacher Gypsy, for that insight, no. Okay? We can also say that um, safer data storage in the cloud. Okay? Yes, meron kayong danger ng malware, may danger ng breach, may danger ng hacking. Pero imagine the danger naman sa labas, no. For example, kapag naka-print ang mga papers natin, for example, or documents natin, could be subjected for weathering, could be subjected to climate, for example, like meron kang typhoon, etc. No? And of course, yung mga calamities, no, including, for example, fire, no, those can actually change, no. Um, uh, Kapag nasa cloud ang ating mga files, no, those can be avoided. Okay? So malaking bagay 'yon, okay? And plus, wag po tayong masyadong natatakot sa mga online storage kasi since yun yung kanilang in a way purpose, no, mataas ang mga encryption levels ng mga data storage, okay? They actually meant to protect your files, no, in their online storage, okay? So that's one thing we should never be afraid of, okay? Now, challenges, no? Ano naman yung mga challenges natin? Ano yung kakaharapin natin kapag pumasok tayo sa digitalization? Something that we also have to be aware of, okay? Kasi this is not a simple process. This is a process that takes resources, takes time, okay? So it's important for us to know what are the possible challenges. And one of them, okay, on top of those challenges will definitely be the challenge of organizational culture. I know you have experienced this. At nakaka-frustrate ito. Okay? That for example, if you're the kind of teacher that has been trying to upgrade himself or herself, okay, to become a more digital educator, okay, kaya lang merong isa, for example, or one of the other two teachers or employees in your workplace that doesn't want to do it, okay, sort of like cut off the process. For example, naka-digitize na pero pahingin na lang ako ng printed copy kasi mas comfortable ako sa printed copy. Nasisira yung chain, nasisira yung nagkakaroon tayo ng difficulty in proceeding better into the digitalization kasi someone is disrupting the flow, okay? It must become a organizational culture. Kailangan nandito tayong lahat. We are all on board on this one. Kaya nga, for example, kung meron tayong mga administrators dito that will be pursuing digital transformation in your schools, okay? You'll have to make sure that all your teachers are on board, okay? And means on board doesn't mean to force them, okay? Kailangan when you say on board, it means you're actually going to support them, okay? For example, pag meron tayong mga hesitant, no, or resistant teachers, no, let's not condemn them, okay? Let's actually explain to them why it's important, plus let's give them the support, okay, so that we can get them on board, okay? Hindi naman pwedeng dahil hindi sila support dun sa digital transformation, i-isolate na natin or i-condemn natin. Let's not do that, okay? When you say on board, it means actually do something, no, to help them, to get them on board, okay? Because I'm still very idealistic, no? We can help, no? As long as we dedicate time, all our teachers are very capable on being digitally transformed as an educator. Okay? Kaya nga hindi ako nabuhay bitaw eh. Nandito pa rin kami, no? Ang kaagapay teacher support because of that belief. Okay. And of course, andyan din yung employees must receive a consistent and open support from IT expert. Hindi rin tayo pwede, no? Okay? When we proceed with digitalization, kailangan meron tayong dedicated support. Okay? Employees, no, must feel safe, no, and comfortable trying new technologies because they know they can ask from someone. Pag meron silang problema, someone will help them. Okay? We can't proceed with digital transformation or digitalization per se without that much needed support. So kailangan gagawa tayo ng core team, okay, that will provide that much needed support, no. You know, you can always message me, no, but at the end of the day, I can only answer as many questions as I can. In your own institution, there you must develop your own champions, no, to usher digitalization. Okay? So kailangan may support tayo. Hindi pwedeng iwanan. Walang iwanan sa ere pagdating sa prosesong to. Okay? And of course, itinatawag nating digitalization entails securing documents in the cloud. Okay? So kailangan, meron din tayong protocols on exactly how to manage our documents in the cloud. No? One encryption levels no, of Google Drive is one thing. Okay? Pero maintaining it, protecting it, okay, and taking care of it is also another thing. So kailangan meron din tayong ways to actually manage it, who's going to take care of it, who has access to our files, etc. Lahat ng bagay na yon should also be taken into consideration. Okay? When we think about digital transformation. Okay? And lahat ng limits na to and challenges na to no, are present no. It should not be a deterrent though. Okay? Hindi ko present ito sa inyo para i-frustrate kayo at i-discourage kayo on digital transformation, but these should be some realities that we have to face. Hindi tayo pwedeng papasok sa digital transformation thinking everything will be just all right. Okay? Because it's a challenging process. Okay? It takes time. Okay? And you will encounter challenges along the way, and you'll have to be aware of them. Okay? So the awareness of this will allow you to better engage the problem. Okay? So steps in digitalization. Ano naman ang ating mga steps to proceed into digitalization? Ano yung mga pwede nating i-consider at gawin when we think about digitalization? Pero syempre, bago tayo siguro pumasok sa digitalization, balikan muna natin si digitization. Paano nga ba tayo tamang nagko-convert ng files into digital format? Kasi ginagawa na natin to for a long time, pero you might be missing some steps or crucial steps in a proper conversion of your files so that you can initiate digitalization. Okay? So unang-una, when we do digitization or converting of files, dapat may selection process. Okay? Hindi dapat lahat. Okay? Huwag niyo naman i-convert lahat because it's actually going to be very problematic na lahat ng mga printed files mo, kinonvert mo din. Okay? So when we think about digitization, you have to also be very selective and start weeding documents that are no longer needed. Okay? Second, prepare your documents for including your materials. So kung for example, kung nagko-convert ko to PDF, you might need a scanner to do that. Okay? And of course, yung conversion of documents to digital format. Although ngayon pala yung mga files, mga cellphones natin can already convert files into PDF or photos in that manner. Okay? And of course, the step 3, conversion of documents to digital format. And minsan, ito po yung mi-miss natin, yung 4 and 5. So kailangan kapag nag-digitize tayo ng form ng mga documents natin, kailangan meron din tayong naka-set up na organizational plans for our documents. Kailangan may lalagyan po yung mga files natin. Hindi yung nag-convert lang tayo ng files pero tinambak din natin sa isang storage. Ang hirap din niyang hanapin. The purpose of that and digitizing is that so you could easily access the files later on. So habang kino-convert natin yung mga files natin, dapat may nakaabang na organizational protocol. Saan ilalagay yung file, saang folder, anong pangalan, etc. So that you could actually change that. You can actually use it. Kasi mamaya nag-convert ka nga. Pero kinonvert mo, nilagay mo lang sa isang lalagyan, hindi mo rin ma-access. So, what's the purpose of your conversion? Okay? The purpose of your conversion is that you could access the files much easier. Okay? And of course, yun nga, yung sabi ng Teacher Carrie, is that yung labeling. So, kailangan meron ka ring standard way of labeling. Para mamaya, pag in-access nyo lahat sa school, everyone can access and look for it in a very efficient manner. Okay? Para may purpose, hindi na sayang yung conversion natin. Okay? And of course, the last one is maintenance. Okay? So kailangan meron din tayong way to continuously manage our files. Okay? Hindi siya pwedeng pabayaan na lang. Okay? So dapat may protocol of maintenance, creating access, lalo na pag kailangan make it accessible for the teachers. Okay? So kailangan it can be made accessible for the teachers' benefit. Okay? And use. Okay. So let's now proceed to the steps of digitalization. Okay. So when we talk about digitalization, the first key step is to identify your goals and objectives of digitalization. Walang proper formula ang digitalization. Okay. It always starts with your objectives. Okay. It will always have to be anchored on what you want to do. Okay. What processes you want to improve. What kind of system no, you'd like to digitalize. Okay? So lahat ito will be taken account no, into your goals and objectives. Okay? And magkakaibang objectives, magkakaiba ng procedure yan. Okay? So for example, if I would want no, to create an automated documents no, for my school, that's a different process. If I want, for example, to create an automated registration process, that's a different process as well. Okay? So it all begins with your very clear objective, similar to when you are creating a lesson plan. Nag-start din tayo with objectives. Okay? The second one is to design a protocol. Okay? So once you have identified your objectives, what you want to do, you start to design your protocol. How do you want to approach this? Okay? What materials you will use? Okay? What are your considerations? How are you going to put up everything? That's your design a step. Okay? Now after that, no, after you have put up everything, all your resources for digitalization, okay, you will need to choose appropriate tools no, to implement the digitalization. So pipili ka na ngayon. Okay? So for example, kung ang digitalization mo is to automate registration, so you might want, for example, QR code generator, Google Forms, etc. So lahat ng to, okay, will be something that you can explore. Okay? So appropriate, no? Hindi po lahat ng tools magkakapareho. Okay? All the tools no, are built with their own advantages and disadvantages. Okay? Our goal is to be able to identify which one works for us and which one doesn't work for us. Okay? And of course, pilot and gather data. Never implement a digitalization process without piloting it first. Napaka-importante po ng piloting sa digitalization process because it allows you to see if the digitalization process actually works. Kasi kung magiging sakit lang ng ulo yan ng mga estudyante natin, ng ating mga teachers, so what's the purpose of that? Okay? There's really no way, and there's really no reason why we should pursue that digitalization process. Okay? Again, there should be at the end of the line, no, our goal is to make things better, convenient, and more productive, no, for all of us, no? Not only for our students but also for the teachers. Okay? Once you have done that, okay, you can fully implement the process, okay, but okay, it doesn't end there. Okay, in the full implementation of your digitalization process, there should also be a continuous evaluation. So patuloy mo siyang tinitingnan, okay, at inuusisa, no, if it works, no, what are the things that could be improved on, etc. Until you get to the point that things are really working, okay, and things are really yielding positive results. Okay, so it's a continuous process as well. Okay, you're never done with just the full implementation. Okay. So essentially, no, when you think about the process of digitalization, you'll be thinking about three things, no, and these are the primary goals, no, of digitalization. At the end, no, whatever digitalization process you are pursuing or you're going to pursue, no, the first one is that you want digitalization because you want to improve the product. Okay, so there's something, no, there's an improvement at the end of the line. Okay, because again, if there's really no improvement, no, what's the use of digitalization? Okay. Second is that there is some sort of automation. Okay, so we're including the automation of processes. Okay, through the use of technology. Okay, so we're reducing the manual work. Okay, basically. Okay, and but so if for example meron kang digitalization pero dumami yung manual work mo, that's not digitalization. Okay, so it's a counterproductive to actually to digitalization. Okay, digitalization should be less manual work. Okay. And of course, simplification of communication. No, that's also one of the core of your digitalization. You want to simplify things. Okay? You want to simplify how information are being exchanged, how processes are being done, how instructions are being understood. All of these things is all about that. Okay. And again, we're going to put that into context in education later on. Okay. So some tools for digitalization. Okay, ano yung mga pwede nating i-try, okay, to initiate, conduct digitalization in our institution. Okay, so of course the first one with that is okay, I'd like to also show this this meme, no. Sino po ang mga nakaabot ng disket dito? Taas comment tayo sa comment section natin yung mga umabot pa sa floppy disk, okay, sa disket, okay. Of course, na magpo-progress yan sa ating sa CD. Kaya yung mga naging frequent visitors ng CDR King, ayan. And of course, kaya there will advancement to USB and then external hard drive. Pero kahit po yun, hindi na rin sila ngayon, hindi na rin yan ang ating trend, no? Digitalization is no longer also taking into account, no, storing files, no, into devices. Okay? The real account, no, of digitalization is moving towards, okay, cloud storage. Okay? Sorry. Okay. Skip natin yun. Okay. Sa cloud storage natin. Okay? So yan talaga ang ating way now of storing information. Okay? Why? Because there are certain benefits, no, if your files are in the cloud. Okay? And some of them is these are the three, no, major benefits of cloud computing or cloud storage. Okay? The first one, syempre ako, is the Pastor Manny. The first one is that when your files are in the cloud, it becomes portable. Okay? So you're no longer thinking about your device. Okay? You're no longer thinking about your storage devices. Okay? Since your files now can easily be moved from one place to another. Okay? Because it's in the cloud. It's actually there. Okay? You don't actually need to move it. It actually moves in the cloud. No? Okay? And of course, your files now are also shareable. Okay? So when your files are made online, okay, these files are easily shareable. Okay? So just like, for example, in the Google Workspace, no, if you have a Google document, you can actually invite 20, 30 people to edit the same document. Okay? And of course, accessible, no, across different devices. No? Naalala ko before, for example, kapag naka-USB yung inyong document, hindi mo pwedeng buksan sa cellphone yun. Okay? Alam ko, although ngayon meron ng mga may mga adapter na, pero still, okay, with your files online, okay, your files are easily accessible across different devices. Mobile phones, tablets, desktop, laptop, you name it, you can access your files, no, in those devices. Okay? And these are some of the cloud storage you might want to try. Of course, okay, if you have a Google Workspace, lalo na po sa mga DepEd teachers natin, no? So meron na po kayong Google Drive. Okay? Sa mga gumagamit po ng MS Office, you also have your OneDrive. Okay? And you might also want to check out Work Drive and Mega Drive. No? These are also free storage devices. Okay? Your storage devices, no, Work Drive though is a paid a premium. Okay? Yung term po natin ngayon na premium, no, meron siyang free version. Work Drive and Mega Drive can give you both free 20 gigabytes of storage. Okay? For free. Okay? If you sign up. Okay? So those are some of the cloud storage that you can try. Okay? You can also proceed now with some technology assisted processes. Okay? And in this technology assist process, now you can try several things. Okay? Now we're going to put this now much more. You can also try this process. Okay? Now much in the context of education. Okay? And the first thing that you might want to do, sorry for that, is creating collaborative documents. No? So we have now so many ways, no, to create collaborative documents. Okay? Documents now are no longer needed to be shared, no, by USB or via CD or etc. No? Files can easily be created online. Okay? Kahit po, for example, na yung pag nag-share tayo ng files, no, via email, hindi natin siya kailangan gawin. Okay? We can readily, no, invite people into our document, no, so we could collaborate. Okay? And you can try several tools on that one. Okay? But before we do that, no, what are some benefits of collaborative documents? Okay? With collaborative documents, you have increased efficient and real-time collaboration. Walang intayan, ano? Okay? Transparency through monitoring features. No? When you use, for example, this Google Collaborative Files, you can easily spot who edited what in your document. No? Wala lang hanapan kung sino nag-edit, sino nag-delete, no, ng isang aspect ng ating document. Of course, seamless editing and feedbacking on files can also be done because of the commenting features. Okay? And your files now are interactive and dynamic. No? It's no longer just text. No? Ang dami natin pwedeng ilagay sa mga online documents natin. Okay? Hyperlinks, no? Different media files, etc. Okay? And these are some tools that you can use, no? Google Docs, Google Sheets, and Google Slides. Familiar naman na tayo dyan. So we'll no longer delve on that one. Okay. The next one is that you might also want to try automating document, no, creation and distribution using the mail merging function. Okay. So here, for example, if you want to produce, for example, certificates, no, or you can also do this in letters, key, or sending letters, key. So you can easily do that using the automation of documents via Google Sheets or any spreadsheets, no, na gumagamit ng mail merging application. Okay? So what does automation or automated documents does do for us? No? It reduces human error. Kapag automated yan, tuloy-tuloy lang yan. Okay? Unless yung error mo dun sa template, no? Kasi talagang may error na lahat yun. Okay? Pero pag maayos yung templates mo, maayos yung setup mo, everything will actually flow as is, no? Okay? Increases productivity kasi once automated, you can actually delegate your time and other resources on other things. Okay? It's no longer just going to be that. Imagine, for example, if you're going to produce like 500, 1,000 certificates, that will take you like so long. No? Pero for example, kapag naka-automate yan, using this process, okay, you can easily, for example, no, I do send certificates in like 1 hour or 2 hours, okay, 1,000 or 1,500 certificates, okay? And mind you, no, when I'm doing that, no, I'm actually not doing like waiting for the whole 2 hours. Once I click that, okay, that goes on to the process, no, I can do other things, okay? Yan, okay? Okay, so that's your mail merging, no, for document automation of documents, okay? Even sending, no, can also be done, okay? Gathering of data and processing of the results, no, can easily be done with Google Forms and Google Sheets, okay? These are two tools we are so familiar with, no, and I really like how they are integrated, no, so you can transfer all your data from your Google Form to your Google Sheets, no, that allows you for analysis, okay? And you can also try curating, presenting information, okay? Pero ngayon hindi na lang siya ano, no? So information now are no longer like kept by just one person, okay? We can actually when you put your information online, no, more people can actually access it, okay? And this one, you can try different websites, okay? Different platforms for curating materials. Say, for example, for Google site, if you want to create a website, okay, that's a no-coding website builder. For curating resources, perfect say, Wakelet, okay. If you want to curate websites for resources, you might want to use Simbaloo for that. No, so you have a lot of platforms for curating resources. No, okay. Teacher Lord Lena, I'll answer that later on. No? I'll take note of that. Okay. Okay. Also, no, by the way, setting up labels, filters, and templates in Gmail could actually help you. Okay. Imagine, for example, if you are to reply to emails, okay, with the same standard template, no, you can reply to 100 emails in no time. Okay. That's productivity in so many ways. Okay. So again, you can set up labels to organize your emails, filters to organize your incoming emails, and of course, templates to easily reply to emails. Okay, those are some processes. Okay, you can use Gmail for that or any email servicing tool. Okay, communicating events. Okay, you can try of course the Google Calendar. Okay, to schedule your event or share your events. No, or even share your calendar. Okay, so just imagine, for example, if you have a calendar for your team, for your department, okay, etc. Okay. You can also use Calendly. I use that for setting up appointments, okay? So, for example, dun sa mga gusto magpa-coaching, no, for example, sa akin, okay, they can book via Calendly to me. Okay, so you can try that. That's a free platform. Although, the free platform or the free version only allows you to set up one event. Kaya po ako hindi ako pwede mag-set up ng multiple coaching sessions, okay, or multiple events. Only one event lang pwede kong i-set up. Okay? You can also create engaging presentations, okay? Para po mas we can transform and we can change, okay? How our materials are engaging our students, okay? So in this one, you might want to try ClassPoint, okay? We're very excited kasi that's an edtech tool that will be coming to KTS soon, okay? We'll be conducting a 6-month no webinar series no for ClassPoint. Okay? That's an add-on to a PowerPoint presentation, allows you to insert um, very engaging activities in your presentation. Microsoft PowerPoint presentations po, by the way. Okay? Genially, baka you want to try, no? That's a very good presentation na application. Okay? Sobrang daming templates po na pwedeng gamitin, okay? Para mas maging interactive yung inyong mga presentations. Okay? Libre din lang po yan, yung ating Genially. No? Free access, although merong mga templates na premium access lang. Okay? Pero the format no or the templates that are for free are sobrang dami na rin. You will be able to make use of that. Okay? Managing learning process, of course, we will always be able, no, ito yung mga learning management system natin, kay Google Classroom, MS Teams, no, all of these are possible no, and are available for your use as well. Okay? And promoting social-emotional learning, hindi na rin to pwedeng ipagsawalang bahala, teachers. No? We also have to support the social-emotional learning of our students. Okay? We also have to support their mental health. No? And right now, especially in the context of the pandemic, okay? Meron tayong mga tools na pwedeng gamitin, okay, to be able to do this. Okay? Say, for example, meron tayo, for example, ClanBit. Okay? ClanBit will also be coming to KTS no, in 2022, okay, as we start our January series. Okay? ClanBit is a platform to build a community for sharing and reflection. No? So when you want to engage your students in a more social-emotional learning to support their emotional growth, mental health, perfect yung ClanBit no for doing that. And of course, you can always do Ziplet no for check in and check out activities no to check on your students no before you even start your class. Okay? Because if your students are not emotionally well, I don't think you can actually engage them. Okay? At ito mga to, hindi natin kailangan gawin in a face-to-face setup. Okay? And again, this is all done in a digital space. Okay? Okay, and of course, supporting professional development. Ayan, okay. We have to support our professional development na of our teachers. Pero, syempre, ang isa sa mga consideration dito is that we can't also burn out our teachers, no? In attending webinars, no? Or required webinars every time. Kaya nga po, di ba, yung format ng kaagapay teacher support is an open access. You can go back to our webinars no anytime. You can learn from our webinars no. It's just there, okay? We will not force you on a particular time, okay? Actually ganun talaga yung mga sa community natin no. Hindi talaga tayo ma-live as a community, okay? We are a community no that takes no in a self-paced no setting, okay? And we respect that, okay? And precisely that's the reason why, okay? Have done this format no, okay? So instead, for example, of like a constant no na required PDs for our teachers now, you might want to actually support the PDs of our teachers using like YouTube playlist no, so curate materials for them, allow them to watch it no, on their own time pag may free time sila, para they can do other things no. For example, also Google Sites, baka pwede nating ilagay doon yung mga relevant PDs na gusto natin silang puntahin, or record the PDs no, in a video, put it in a Google site so the teachers can watch it, so that our teachers can dedicate much of their time into their craft no, into what they do best, which is to teach and to design the learning process. Kasi minsan nauubos tayo sa mga gantong engagement no. And I've seen no, like several posts on this one, teachers being burned out by required PDs no, yung scheduled PDs. So yun. Okay? So we can, technology no, should also be able to alter that already. Hindi natin kailangan yung talagang rigid schedule. Although there's also benefit for that, pero it should not be like in a monthly basis, no? Could be like a quarterly thing or a biannual thing, no? Hindi kailangan na monthly, weekly nagkakaroon tayo ng mga required scheduled PDs. Okay. Facilitating registration process, no? So pwedeng nyo ring i-explore, for example, yung paggamit ng QR code. Okay? So you might want to explore, for example, bulk QR code generator if you want to generate no QR code for all of your students. Okay? And you can always manage registration using Google Sheets. No? Partnered that with Google Form. That's a perfect and powerful combination no for registration. Okay. I have okay, I think no I already have a automated registration process and automated distribution of report card process no in my YouTube channel. You can check that out. Okay. If you want to learn more no, on how to use Google Form, Google Sites, okay, and Google Sheets no in creating automated registration process. Okay. That's available no in my YouTube channel. Okay. Okay, so let's now go into digital transformation in education na po tayo. Okay, so i-apply na natin, i-contextualize natin in the education sector. No? What does it mean when we talk about digital transformation in education? Okay, saan ba tayo pumunta? What are the things that we have to consider? Okay, so now let's look at first, no, 6 reasons, okay, why digital content is favored by our students. Okay, so this is a research no from by McGraw-Hill. Okay, all the different contexts, pero we can assume no, or we can also say that much of these things no are still applicable no to our students. Okay, so there are based on this research no and data. Okay, 71% of students engage more with digital course materials. Okay. 97% of students found adaptive learning and technology helpful in retention. So they retain information better with technology-assisted instruction. Okay? 84% of students say digital will enhance knowledge. Okay? 78% of college students confess that digital learning is helping them improve computer science, mathematics, and other technical skills. Okay? And of course, 79% of students prefer online quiz, adaptive learning, and e-textbooks in learning. And 45% of them, students want to learn on personal device. So may personal ano rin siya, no? Okay? Although, and this is taking into account, no, that our students are digital natives. Okay, so they are born in the time that there's technology. Okay, so there's also that assumption no, that they're more they prefer more okay, the use of technology no, or this technology assisted processes. Okay, pero no, ano lang, be very conscious about this. Okay, digital natives doesn't mean efficiency and use. Hindi natin pwedeng sabihin that dahil ang ating mga estudyante ay digital natives, alam na kagad nilang gamitin yung mga technology na yan. Hindi rin po, no? That's the reason why as teachers, no, also need to coach them to become facilitators because we still have to guide them, no, in using the technology, no, and becoming not just digital natives. Because our goal is not like to support being a digital native. What we want to them to become is to become digital citizens. Citizens or students know who are responsible, okay, and who are competent in the use of technology. Not only digital natives, okay? Yes po, no, digital natives sila pero not all of them are actually competent no in using technology. Okay. So now let's look at factors for digital transformation in education. Okay, now that we have connected no, it in our education, what are now the factors that we have to consider? Okay, as mentioned kanina, babalik ulit tayo. Okay, that our digital transformation no, will have to take into account people, processes, and tools. In the context of education, people would mean your students, would mean your teachers, would mean your administrators. Okay. So all of them had to be on the same page when we approach digital transformation. It can't just be the teachers. It can't just be the students. It can't just be the administrators. Okay. So all of these people, no, all the stakeholders, even if you can, even your parents, no, had to be involved into that process. Okay. So they had to be considered. Okay. All of them in order for digital transformation to actually work. Okay. Second, processes. Okay. Your digital transformation should not only be about the tools. Okay. It should also be about rethinking how you do things. That's digital transformation. You wanted to introduce a new way of doing things. Okay. Say, for example, how you teach, no, how you assess, okay, how you collaborate with your co-teachers in terms of like lesson planning, okay, how subjects work together, okay, how administrators no supervise the teachers, okay, how teachers no are assisted no through professional development. All of these processes had to change as well in the digital transformation. And of course, no, yung tools natin. Okay? So pipili ka pa rin no na mga tools, no, like your LMS, okay, your the tools that you're going to use, no. And I always it's not about a matter of it's a matter of preference actually. It's a matter of preference, no, but I always prefer, okay, that we build around a system. Okay? And it doesn't really matter kung ano pong system yan, no? Kung Microsoft Office yan, kung Google Workspace yan, or other system yan, okay? I still believe that having a core at the a system at the core, okay, allows you to drive your education, no, into digital space, no, much better, okay, or to transform your education into digital education with a system at the core, okay, because with different tools, no, being used, it can get confusing. But if you use a system to drive your digital education, okay, that would definitely help. So, pili po kayo. Okay? Pero of course, na hindi naman kailangan na pag pumili tayo, for example, na Google Workspace, yun lang gagawin natin. Hindi naman. Okay? We can always complement, no, that system with other tools. Pero ang point natin is that at the very core, meron kang meron kang core, okay, that guides, no, the entire digital transformation of your school. Okay? And of course, yung pinag-usapan natin kanina, no, yung digital transformation, okay, benefits, no, of digital transformation, okay. So when we talk about empowered employees, we're talking about empowered administrators, empowered faculty, empowered staff, okay. We have to include the administrators here, okay. If we are expecting, for example, our teachers to be digitally proficient, okay, or I don't know, use proficient in the use of technology in education, we have to also expect, no, the same thing from our administrators because they'll be driving the macro perspective of the school. Okay, they're the visionaries. No, they're the ones that create policies. No, in our school. No, if not, if they don't really fully understand, no, the whole process of digital transformation, the technology that it will take, no, it will be very hard to actually pursue digital transformation. And of course, we can also expect, no, that our administrators will be the guide of our faculty and staff. Okay? So they'll have to be the first, no, the frontliners, okay, in the digital transformation. Okay? And engage customers, no, your students, no, are and parents are your customers in this regard. Okay? So we are transforming our education to increase engagement, okay, to drive a better education for our students. Okay? And of course, no, transform products, okay, instruction and assessments, okay, will now take into account digital world, okay, the digital space, etc. Okay, so we are now fitting, okay, and we are now adapting, no, our processes, no, into the 21st century, so that it can actually meet the needs of our students. It's so hard that we are if it's so difficult, no, if we are so trapped into the traditional approaches to education, okay, and it's no longer addressing the needs of our students, okay. Our adaptation, okay, towards no to the 21st century learning, no, to the digital education is so that we can reach out to our students, okay. That's the at the core of it, no. That's the reason why we're doing it, okay. Hindi dahil uso siya, hindi dahil siya ay trendy or popular. It's because our students, no, deserve that kind of education, okay. And optimize operations, no, yung registration natin, PDs, data access, etc. No, through the use of technology can easily be optimized. No, hindi na tayo ngayon. For example, if a student wants to see his whole record from grade 1 to grade 6, for example, we can easily show that. Okay, that's the kind of data access that we want. Okay, if a parent, for example, want to see records of his son in a discipline in the academics, they can easily access that, no, via our database. That's the kind of digital transformation we're looking for. Okay, and of course, no, registration, no, can registration be an online thing? Can I actually conduct, for example, can I register my son to school online? That's digital transformation. Okay, PDs, no, can we actually support our teachers, no, with ongoing PDs, no, that does not require scheduled meetings? Digital transform. Okay, we're changing now and altering the norms. Okay, we're breaking barriers and breaking walls altogether. Okay, impact of digital transformation in education. So what is it for? Okay? Anong mangyayari? Okay? If we pursue digital transformation, what could happen? Okay, so when we talk about impact, okay, of course, the first one is that it improved accessibility and access. Okay? We just had a session before on accessibility, okay? And we know how technology is actually built, no, in promoting accessibility. Okay? With digitalization and digital transformation, we can actually accommodate more different learning styles. Okay? We can accommodate more skills, okay, or abilities, okay? Especially those that are challenged, okay? Can actually also be accommodated with the use of technology and with digitalization. Hindi na tayo ngayon naka-anchor dun sa kailangan ganito yung skills mo to be able to perform this. Okay? Now, technology allows you and provides you many options to actually engage your students. Okay? Education will become more inclusive with digital transformation. Of course, no? And of course, we also have personalized learning approaches. Okay? Since our students no, can engage in the learning process on their own, self-paced, or kaya in their own learning devices or gadgets, okay? Learning could become more personalized. Okay? They get to access information on their own. Okay? They're not waiting for the teacher to deliver the content. Okay? They can access no, multiple ways, multiple information, okay, in different ways. Okay? They can deliver output in different ways as well. Okay? They can access resources, okay, in their own. Okay? That's personalized learning. No? They have more choice and more voice, okay, in that process. Okay? So student voice and student choice no, are two things that we have to also make sure that's very present in our digital education. And that's what digital education can actually bring you. Okay? Personalized learning approaches. Okay? Also virtual reality no, sa pagpasok ng digital age, no, yung pagpasok natin sa virtual reality. Okay? Say for example ngayon, hindi mo naman na kailangang mag-travel no, to be able to get into museums. Okay? With, for example, applications or websites such as the arts and culture .google.com, that actually gives you no, access to museums no, all over the world. Okay? I can actually tour museums in London using arts and culture.google.com. Okay? I can also, for example, use Google Earth no, to explore the world. Okay? These are the kinds of virtual realities, no, and even the AR, no. If you download, for example, you might want to explore. There's a Google application called Google Lens, okay, that you can no, metaverse. Okay, we can access also AR no or augmented reality no resources. Okay, so nandiyan na tayo. Okay, sa ating ano no um, virtual reality. Okay? Cloud-based learning opportunities, no? So, since files can be shared in the cloud, no, online, okay? Learning opportunities can also occur in the cloud, okay? Hindi natin kailangan ngayon ng physical space, no, to actually learn, okay? Madami po tayong ano, no, opportunity now to actually engage our learners, no, in the online setup. Okay? Yan yung mga ano natin, no, okay? For this for cloud-based no learning opportunities no by pushing okay documents online okay by pushing documents no in the digital space no we allow ourselves to also engage them in a different transformed way. Okay, yan. Okay. Uh, please keep the insights coming. No? Ang ganda ng mga insights no sharing sa ating chat. No? Okay? And of course, integration of the Internet of Things, no, or idea of the Internet of Things. No? Tandaan niyo na po ito, no? IoT. Okay? That's also a driving force in digital education. Okay? When you say IoT or Internet of Things, okay, that's the reality that things are no longer compartmentalized. They're no longer segregated. Every information, every tool, every aspect no, of our lives are actually interconnected via the internet, okay? Or can be made connected no, via the internet, okay? So things are no longer existing in isolation, okay? So for example, if you're teaching a lesson, okay, that lesson no, is no longer in one segregated space. No? If you're using a technology, your technology no, does not anymore no, exist in a vacuum. Your students okay, does not exist in an isolation. They are connected no, in so many ways via the internet. Okay? So the Internet of Things is also a driving force of digitalization. Okay? And if we consider that, no, then we also have to really change the way we do things, okay, in education. Okay? Security across digital devices, okay, we can easily secure our information, okay, from different digital devices. Okay? As I mentioned kanina, yes, meron pa ring possibility of being hacked, okay, malwares, okay, viruses, etc. But okay, I think all of those threats, okay, in the online outweighs, no, the advantages of storing your files online compared to offline storage. Plus, again, offline storage, no, prevents, no, that much flexibility for cloud-based learning opportunities. Yes, no, Internet of Things. Okay? Teaching digital citizenship, no, you have to, sabi ko nga kanina, it's not just that they are digital natives. Okay? We can't stop at that fact that our students, okay, I don't know, we can't just stop with the fact that our students are digital natives. Okay? Kailangan turuan natin sila, okay, how they can actually responsibly use technology. Kasi alam naman natin ngayon how irresponsible use of technology, no, and the digital space can lead to disasters, okay? Can lead to problems, okay? Can lead to more problems than solutions, okay? So as teachers, that's also our responsibility. So part of the digital transformation is to transform how your students, no, mindset operates, no, and make use of technology. That's our responsibility as teachers. Okay? So it's not just being about digital native. It's about being a digital citizen. Okay? And of course, consolidated data, no. Your with the digital transformation, okay, you'll be able to centralize, no, that massive data, okay, which will allow you to use it in more ways than one, okay. So ngayon, for example, yung data kay counselor pwede nang ma-access, yung data kay math teacher, yung data kay science teacher, yung data sa principal, yung data from grade 1 to grade 2 can all be used to affect the design of the learning process. Hindi na ngayon nakaano yung mga data, no, sa just one space, no, at hindi nagagamit, no. With the digitalization or digital transformation, if you can put your data in one database, okay, all of those data will become powerful mechanisms in altering your education. Okay? Yan po, no, ang mga benefits, no, or some of the benefits of digital transformation. Okay? Now, okay, those again, no, actually that's the end of my sharing and my discussion. Okay? And I'll just like to end maybe with this quotation, no, on digital transformation, on how we need to approach, no, digital transformation. If we, okay, want digital transformation, the biggest part of our digital transformation is actually changing the way we think. Okay? So we'll have to innovate, no? We'll have to challenge the norms. Okay, we have to break the walls, no. We have to unchain ourselves, okay, from the status quo, from the usual, okay, from our comfort zone. As we've said, no, from I always refer to that, no, Vygotsky's zone of proximal development. There's really no growth in comfort zones. Okay, and let's not use the phrase, for example, if it's not broken, don't fix it. It doesn't work anymore like this. No, um, um, the times changing, our students are changing, the context is changing. No, the technology is changing. No, in a very fast pace, and perhaps that's what the pandemic brought us. No, it actually, no, hastened our transformation and our the transition towards digital education, towards digital transformation of education. Okay, and all it takes, no, is to change, no, our mindset, no, the way we think. Okay, and it will be difficult. It's not an easy process. Okay, there will be challenges. Okay, you will think that it's not worthy at one point. Okay? You will think it's very difficult, it's impractical, etc. But at the end of the line, no, you will see once your school has been digitally transformed, how it actually elevates the entire learning process and the entire learning design. Okay? And that actually is it. Maraming maraming salamat po, okay, for listening, and for all of the insights in the chat. No, maraming maraming salamat for all your um, um, contributions. Okay, so maybe we can now have some sharing or some questions, okay, from the audience. Okay, let me just welcome back my co-administrator, Teacher Pao. Okay, Teacher Pao, maraming salamat for
Maraming salamat, Sir Franco. Sige, bibigay ko 'tong oras na 'to para makainom ka ng tubig 'no.
okay na ako.
Dinire-diretso mo na naman,
Yes,
okey.
actually, no. Before this, I actually came from a training from DSWD. Okay, so tuloy-tuloy po yung ano. Okay. But again, for our teachers, no, anything. Okay. This one is from Teacher Carrie
Yan,
Dominic
oh, may
Abihuro.
question na siya. Yes.
Yes, si Teacher Carrie, no, ay isang teacher, student pa lang. Okay,
Student teacher,
fourth year college student pa lang yata si Teacher Carrie, no? Okay.
LT student
So may I ask, paano ba ang ating balance on automation of work processes and allowing personalized, customized, and self-paced learning? Okay? When you say balance, actually, when you say balance, no, these are actually two different things, no. Okay, for example, automation of work and processes, okay, could take on more on the administrative perspective. Okay, so for example, yung registration, okay, yung data processing, access to information. These are all areas now where you can implement automation. Okay, personalized, customized, and self-paced learning is not really automation, perhaps, no, per se. Okay? Personalized and customized self-paced learning is all about, okay, designing learning in such a way that the students can approach it in a multiple ways, no, and in their own time. Okay? So, say for example, no, an example of an automation is that, like example, you use in our school, Teacher Pao, no, I designed our health declaration form sa school namin, okay, wherein when you do the Google form, okay, it automates and sends you a certificate of permission to work on site. Okay, so yun yung kind of, or a kind of automation, okay. Say, for example, for personalized learning is you design like a Google site, okay, where students can access information, okay, and then you have like a guideline on how they would proceed, no, on learning. And maybe in a way, personalized learning should also take into account multiple ways of access to information, or yung pinag-usapan natin last time, Teacher Pau, differentiated content. Okay?
correct,
Or
correct.
access to information. Okay?
Agree. Okay,
So,
si
yun. So,
Teacher
Teacher
Ram.
Carrie, no?
Yan, si Teacher Ram may tanong din. How will you approach those colleagues who are resistant to change? It is badly needed in this time in the educative process.
Okay.
Yan, yung mga resistant.
That yes, totoo, no. Meron naman talaga. Okay. And meron talagang resistant, no. Kasi Teacher Pau, teaching also takes into account na yung comfortability natin. Minsan talaga pag sobrang comfortable tayo, gusto natin yun na yung ginagawa natin because it works. Okay? We have done that, no. And there's really nothing wrong with that, no. Ang sasabi natin is that it can always be that way because times are changing, no. So when we encounter resistant, no, and there's actually a term for them, no, yung mga tinatawag nating mga stragglers. Okay, these are teachers, no, na medyo naiiwanan ng konti sa technology, no, at nahirapang mag-adapt, no. So the first couple of things that we can do, no, is number one, we can provide a personalized support for them. Okay, isa sa pinaka deterrent na sa mga teachers to open up is that if you put them on the spot. Okay, like example, struggler siya at resistant siya sa change, yung mapuput on the spot siya, lalo siya naging resistant. Okay? To be able to accommodate them, no, actually, is to have someone to actually coach them. Diyan na pumapasok yung tinatawag nating coaching program, no, on a more personalized level of engagement. Kasi kapag ang ginawa mo lang is webinar ka lang, no, or like full school institutional training ka for them, okay? Hindi mo talaga sila madadala. Okay? You'll have to actually go down to their level, no, and know exactly what's causing you this resistance. Kasi magkakaiba din yan. Okay? Merong iba, for example, resistant because I find it impractical. I'm resistant because it takes time to learn, no? Ayoko na mag-spend pa ng time, gagawa pa ako ng lesson plan, ta's mag-aaral pa ako ng tools. So, bakit pa ako mag-e-engage diyan, no? Okay? Or for example, resistant kasi I don't see data, okay? Or I don't see like information that tell me otherwise that that's actually a better approach to learn, to teaching and to the learning process to what I'm doing right now, okay? So kapag nalaman natin yung mga personal reasons no of those resistances, then we can better approach them, okay? So to answer it, siyempre pinahaba ko pa, no? Pero to answer that very talagang quickly, make it more personal for them, no? Yung help natin or assistance, no? Do not approach it on an umbrella like um, macro solution for all of them. Okay? Um,
Sir
and
Franco,
again, be patient. Okay?
yan. Okay, ako Sir Franco, my take on that. Also, you have to, whenever there's change, asahan nyo talaga may resistance, no? Kasi status ko yan
Oo.
eh, nandun ka na sa comfort side. But, every time you introduce a change, you have to present the rationale, whether it's in procedure, automation, or whatever. Kailangan naiintindihan nila, o bakit to gagawin? No, para makita nila, sige, baka malalaman nila, mapapadali yung buhay. Diba? And also, those who did the automation or yung nagpo-propose ng change na yun can also get feedback na, ay, hindi, mas napahirap pala, and that's a process, no? Kasama siya sa process natin ng refining, fine-tuning nung proseso natin. And in the end, everyone will benefit from it, hopefully, dito sa digital transformation natin. Ako, ayan, Sir Franco, ang dami na nating
Correct.
question.
Yes. Pero maganda ano yun, tama yun, no? Tama pa rin. Tama talaga yun. It's really the onboarding process is very important. Okay? We can't like rush onto it, no? Itatapon na lang natin yung digital transformation sa mga teachers natin, sa students natin without really like onboarding them first. Let's make sure we have that onboarding process first. Okay? This
Yeah.
one is, I think, next question is from Sir Edwin. Ano?
Yes, so how can we do risk assessment in our way to digitalization? What are the primary parameters to look at it so it is easy to present to elderly management with inclination to resistance to change?
Okay. So dito na papasok na yung pinag-usapan natin kanina, no? When you say kasi risk assessment, no, you're actually trying to see if there are going to be like hazards, okay? Or problems, no, and challenges along the way, okay? And it's going to be very important, no, okay? So that's dito papasok nga yung importance ng piloting. Okay? So when you do piloting, no, it allows you to see exactly how it works in an actual implementation, okay? Maybe not in a grand scale, pero it allows you to collect data, okay? And for me, no, Sir Edwin, no, the way you present it is that present it in as truthfully, okay? So kung ano yung na-collect natin data, pero make sure natin that we do not present raw data. Okay? Kasi nakakagulo lalo yan. No? Yung for example, nagkaroon tayo ng piloting, tapos nag-collect ng data, tapos present sa panel, sa whole faculty, tapos so anong meron sa data? Okay, so kailangan po, no, kapag nagawa tayo ng risk assessment, let's make sure that we analyze it already, that we make some sense of it already. And so when we present it to our faculty and staff, no, it makes more sense to them already. Okay. And I don't think there are areas that should be hidden. So I think that we can be as transparent to them as possible. Okay. So that they're fully aware. That kind of awareness kasi will actually better prepare them. Okay. The awareness of the challenges, no, the awareness that these are the things I'm going to encounter. This is the way I'm going to prepare. Pero yun din, no, Teacher Pau, when we present these hazards and challenges, let's also make sure that the end of our presentation should be a presentation of possible solution. Hindi pwede nag-present lang tayo ng hazards, tinakot lang natin yung mga teachers natin. Lalo na yung mga yung mga possible stragglers, na mga resistant natin,
Correct.
no, dun sa process, no. So kailangan we present as truthfully, as honestly as possible, no, as clearly as possible yung mga risk natin, and then we give no a possible solution. Is it a like a close final solution? No, okay. These are possible solutions, and we invite them to actually be engaged, no, in the crafting of possible solution. They get ownership in the process, okay? They get involved because that's the last thing you'd like to do to them, no? Not involve them. If they feel that they're not involved in the process of their of the planning for this, you'll expect, why do I care? Why should I care in this digital transformation? But having them part, no, of that digital transformation, they become part of it, and it's so hard to criticize something that you're part of.
Oo,
But it's sort
correct.
of like, 'di ba, psychology and ano,
Isama sila sa
approach.
process talaga. That's key, no? Kung kasi ibabato lang sa kanila ng gano'n-gano'n, I think that's also related to the question kanina ni Sir Lord na how to motivate, no, na hindi sila mawawala ng gana and all. You really have to explain to them why we are doing these things, why there are some changes that have to be made. In the end, ano ba yung mapapala talaga nila? Kasi kung hindi rin nila makikita yung tangible, possible effect na sinasabi natin nila Sir Franco, no, hindi rin siya mag-work. No? So we really have to onboard them kung kailangan ka nga meron kang session only for them. Meron ganun eh. Kami sa amin, we had those sessions. Siyempre, hindi talaga makakasabay. Naiintindihan mo naman yun eh. Kasi wala sila sa ganong age. No? So,
Yeah,
but you understand their needs as well. So, meron. Usually ako, kapag ako kunwari nagtitrain ako, may separate session ako para dun sa
correct.
kailangan talaga ng hands-on. Nakikita na talaga nila lahat ano nang nangyayari.
Yes.
Yun.
May follow-up comment si Sir Edwin, no? Sabi niya is that may problems that yung budget constraint. No, that's actually, there's, if that becomes a problem later on, it means may mali dun sa design natin, okay? Bakit? Kasi hindi na consider si budget in the first place. Okay, so it can't be like a post, no, consideration of your digital transformation design. Dapat sa una pa lang, alam na kagad natin limitations natin. What resources we have, how much money do we have, what technology we have access with. Kasi lahat ng mga bagay na to, no, will actually play into, come into play. Sabi nga rin, for example, no, at sasabihin ko na rin, no, ika-address ko na rin yung concern ni Teacher Carrie na paano po yung mga may problema sa connection. That's precisely, no? So, wag tayo mag-introduce ng digital transformation or technology-assisted processes kung wala pa yung technology na yon, okay? Kasi it will become a discriminating, excluding process. Ang gusto nga natin mas maging inclusive tayo eh, at saka mas maging accessible tayo, no? Okay? So let's work first, no? Dapat meron tayong analysis, no, of our resources, lalong-lalo na sa pagdating sa network infrastructure, okay? So alamin kiga natin gaano laking data yung meron tayo, how often do our students have access to to internet, no, etc. Because all of those things, no, will come into play. Okay? Or otherwise, yung sabi natin kanina, wala naman na-improve sa process kasi pinahirapan din natin yung ibang tao. Okay? And it doesn't mean though, Teacher Pao, na we're going to stay like this. Okay? Because those things will come. Darating po yan. Kita nyo naman ngayon, di ba? Nasa na ngayon ang ating, ang ating, hindi nyo lang pinapansin kasi pandemic, no? Pero believe it or not, ang layo na rin po ng tinakbo ng ating data, no? Siyempre, nagrereklamo tayo ngayon kasi layo natin ginagamit, pero can you imagine before? Balik tayo ng like 2 years, 3 years, okay? Nako-content tayo, for example, sa like 2 Mbps, 5 Mbps. At okay tayo, nabubuhay tayo doon, okay? Pero ngayon, di ba? Nasa 50 Mbps na tayo, nasa 100 Mbps na tayo, nagrereklamo pa rin tayo kasi mabagal pa din. Again, okay? Tumatakbo tayo. We're actually improving, no? And that's actually what you have to first to consider, your resources. What do you have, okay, to actually be able to drive a meaningful digital transformation? Kailangan sabay-sabay, no? Walang iwanan sa digital transformation natin. Okay?
Correct. Ayan. Sir
Ito siguro,
Frank,
last two questions
sige.
tayo. This one is from Teacher Lord Lena.
Ayan, yung kanina na mention na natin ito, yung tungkol sa sana yung hindi sila mawala ng gana. Include
Okay.
them in the process. Si Teacher Manolita White, meron siyang question. What are your thoughts about some universities using
Ay,
domain
meron pa isang question pa,
chatbots?
sorry. Balikan natin, may naiiwang question si
Sige,
Teacher
sige.
Manilita Oligo sa
Ayan.
sa taas. Okay.
Yeah.
Uh,
Digital transformation also explore how digital transformation affects education with key technologies and trends. What are the key technologies and trends enabling digital transformation in education?
Ako personally 'no, ang pinaka siyempre na-mention ko na kanina diyan, kaya ko siya inuna 'no, is the first one is really cloud computing, okay? That's the first thing 'no, and, that we'll have to consider when it comes to ano 'no, to digital education or digital transformation in education because much of the things that we do now can be done online, okay? So, that's the first, ano 'no, technology that we'll have to explore. Okay, we have to continuously migrate no online okay, our files, our processes no because the more that we get to do that no and put that on the cloud, it much better that we get to optimize no our use of the digital space. Kasi hangga't hindi natin na-optimize yun no yung process na yan no will have a hard time keep optimizing or maximizing the use of the digital space no okay. And siguro ngayon when it comes to trends no teacher Pao, okay, what I really like no in much of the development of the different tools now is that the tools are now ano no uh, moving towards what we call integration. Okay? Many of the tools now are pursuing integration with other tools. Kinakita niyo, for example, Edpuzzle working with Google Classroom, MS Teams working, for example, with ClassPoint, etc. All of this no are being pursued. Hindi na sila ngayon like mga standalone apps. Okay? Hindi na sila ngayon mga standalone technology. No? Even the technologies realize that for them to fully maximize their potential no, as a technology, they'll also have to rely on other technologies. So let's look for those technologies that allows that kind of adaptability to work with other tools. Kasi that will allow you to fully optimize and maximize your use of technology. Okay, so yun po yung dalawang ano, no, possible trends na pwede nating tingnan.
Okay, ayan. Yung
Maybe
isang
last question.
question, yan, ni Teacher Manolito White. Ito na yung last question natin. What are your thoughts about some universities using domain chatbots for admission process and registrar's office using analytics to monitor students' records? Actually, ito, medyo na-encounter ko to being
Oo.
the coordinator and I'm closely working with the guidance counselor. And doon ko nalaman na I think UP nag-start ng mag-chatbot kasi siguro sa
Yeah.
dami ng inquiries, 'di ba? So
Oo.
for me, with all those inquiries coming in, I cannot imagine how they will respond to all queries nang hindi automated muna. 'Di ba?
Mm.
Para ma-sort kasi lahat ng question, baka naman nasagot na yung mga FAQs. Ang kasi ganun pag chatbot, 'di ba? Naka section na siya. So if this is your
Yes.
response, if this is your question, this is the response. Something like that. Para mas mabawasan siguro yung dami yung bulk ng questions na meron tayo, no? I think pabibilisin din niya yung proseso. Dati kasi busy yung line, hindi ko matawagan, hindi ako makapagtanong, hindi ka makaalis ng bahay, di ba? Minsan, sige pupuntahan ko na nga lang, hindi naman pwede, di ba? So I think this is a mark of ano, no? Talagang digitalization. Meron na talaga siyang transformation on that
Yes, yes,
side.
no,
No?
correct with that, no. I think siguro ano rin ng chatbot is yung immediacy, no, ng response. Hindi tayo naghihintay. Because, well, it's not only gusto natin silang spoil sa immediate response, no, pero, it also takes into account yung 'pag immediate yung response, we can act on it right away. Walang hintayin masyado na naka-cut yung in a way mga red tape actions or
Mm-mm.
activities na in between no and the process becomes more efficient no. As for
Correct.
analytics, I really like that no that records are centralized. Okay? Yun yung sinasabi ko kanina, Teacher Pau, na records are supposed to really be centralized, no? Okay? That, for example, kunyari, example, I'm a social science teacher, no? If I can access, for example, the performance or the reading ability of my students, okay, from what, for example, mga tests, okay, I could better design, for example, my assessment, no, based on their reading ability, okay. For example, if I have a student, okay, na may records or problems of behaviors, okay, if I can access his information, okay, I could better understand why he's acting that way. Okay? At hindi ko i-assume na pasaway lang 'tong estudyante na 'to. Okay? Kasi may data ako. So that centralized no and use of analytics no to monitor students' records no and also to facilitate no a collaboration among the different educators no will be very, very beneficial. Kaya lang, it's a really, really long undertaking, Teacher Pao. That's not
Yes.
easy. Okay?
Yes.
Even as in say in our school, that's also taking us so much time to actually implement a centralized database, no, for our students' records. But once that's done, that should no elevate how data impact education in your school. Mas
And
ano
I
na po siya.
think lang, yan, oo. Dagdag ko lang, no, in terms of data, because I used to handle grades in our school. And it's very important, even the records also of guidance and all. The use of a centralized data, nandun yung secure, no?
Mm,
Security nung data. Kasi hindi po pwedeng kung kanino man lang siya mapunta. Yung tipong, o tong spreadsheet na to, nandito yung data ng mga bata. Sige, pasa ko sa'yo kung kailangan mo. Hindi siya pwedeng ganun. No, kasi
yes.
it's a sensitive information. You actually have to ask the permission of your data protection officer for you to be able to get that, but you need it,
Mm,
so you really
yes.
have to ask for that. But since ang hirap nga ng ganong proseso, kung hindi ka pa automated, ayaw mo na lang. So
Yes,
kung
correct.
kung meron tayong kung automated yung system, mapapadali, at least merong some sort of encryption or whatever, na ang kung ano lang yung kailangan mo, yun lang yung makukuha mo. Pag di mo siya kailangan, di mo na makikita, parang ganun. So
Yes,
I
correct.
think it's something na we can, no, we can really
Ay,
work.
yes. Ay, gusto ko yung concern ni ano, ni Teacher Christian Tumbaga, no, sa chat natin. Okay? That's also one of the reasons why some teachers no are very resistant no or hesitant in using technology. They think they're being replaced. Okay? Actually, no. Well, for one, I don't think our teachers will ever be replaced okay, by any kind of technology, no, because education no, remains to as I've always told our teachers, no, it's a human endeavor. Okay? Nagbabago, nag-shift lang yung roles natin. At ang mga automated processes na to no, could easily save your resources. Okay? So you teachers no can focus on what you do best, which is to design the learning process. Okay? So tatanggalin natin yung mga unnecessary things no na hindi natin dapat kailangan ginagawa as teachers no. We can focus no on really directing, coaching, facilitating the teaching learning process. Okay? So, yun lang po. Yan. Okay, so I hope teachers, no, wala pa tayong pwede. By the way, no, gusto ko lang din mag-apologize kay teacher. Kasi may message ako sa chat ni teacher Elmar Moralde. Hindi pa daw dumadating yung kanyang ed puzzle swag bag,
Grabe.
no. Apologies, teacher Elmar. We will get into that, no, as soon as possible. Pinagsasabay-sabay lang namin kasi yung pag-send ng mga printers, swag bags, and all other prices. But we will um, get to that, no, teacher Elmar. Okay? Yes po 'no, Teacher May 'no. Tayong mga guro ang puso, buhay at kabuluhan ng teknolohiya. Okay, sa atin dumadalo 'yan. Okay. So maraming salamat po teachers for joining us today and thank you for always being with us 'no and joining our session. Okay. I know it's a Monday no, but thank you pa still no for joining our live session. Okay. Now as for our evaluation link, okay, so that you could by the way no, these are sorry, share ko pala syempre yung hindi ko pala na-share yung screen ko no. Okay. If you can, if you would like to contact us or connect with us, okay, please do so via our Facebook page no, at Kaagapay, the Teacher Support Team. Sites at google.com for our resources, okay, and email us at administrator at kaagapayph.com. You can also add our calendar at bit.ly/kaagapay calendar and of course, I always encourage you know to like and subscribe to our channel no 28,000 na lang po, nasa 100 ang layo pa eh, 'no. At www.youtube.com/C 'no, sorry, Franco Nicolo Adun. So 'yan, maraming salamat po. So for your evaluation, here's your evaluation link. Please do check if it actually works and if you can access it. Okay. Bago po kami magpaalam ni Teacher Pau. Okay, Teacher Pau, maraming salamat
Working naman
for
ang ating file.
this session no and
Very good.
being with us here. Alam ko po gaano
Thank you
ka-busy
so
Teacher Pau no.
much.
Kasi parang 10 po yata ang roles niyan sa school nila. Okay.
Binawasan.
Kumbaga yeah, parang before yung term natin na siya ang nagbubukas at nagsasara ng school nila. Okay. Ngayon siya ang nagbubukas at nagsasara ng school nila virtually. Okay. Yan, si Teacher May, mas ma-attest Teacher May yan. Okay, kasi Teacher May is also from the same school. So teachers, maraming salamat. Please do let us know if the link works okay, before po kami
Yes,
magpaalam.
working.
Working po.
Working.
Maraming salamat
Thank
teachers
you
'no,
so
and
much,
we'll see you. By the
Osampo,
way, Teacher Pao, meron tayong isang na ano na move na isang event ulit yung, lightning talks natin because we still have to gather, um speakers okay, for that. Okay. So our last event for November, okay, at actually for this year will be on Saturday, no? That will be on the post-pandemic education. Ano na nga ba ang magiging sitwasyon natin, no? Sa post-pandemic education. Some thoughts, ideas, and possibilities, no, of the post-pandemic education. I know we're already piloting, pero what could be a possibility? Pau, ay ganda ng comment ni Teacher Ram mo. Yan, napangiti si Teacher Pau. Okay?
Hindi.
Ah,
Ikaw talaga
oo,
yung
buo na
pogi
yung
doon.
ay vibe po nga 'no, meron pala sa akin. Ang tatampo
Oh,
sana ako
syempre.
kasi akala ko wala yung sa akin eh. Okay? Pero alam na Teacher Ram yan. Yan,
Alright.
thank you Teacher. Yan, teacher for the being a versatile, ano, okay,
Versatile moderator. Syempre,
moderator.
dahil
Kailangan may
meron
ano
akong
yan, versatile
world-class
kailangan.
speaker.
Yeah. Maraming salamat ulit sa iyo teachers 'no. And ay, by the way gusto kong address din pala yung concern Teacher Manolita White kanina kasi, she was asking if it's possible for us to give, actually matagal ng request 'to 'no, yung magbigay tayo ng monthly, certification, for those completers of monthly series 'no. Teacher Manolita White, hintay lang po tayo because we will do that pero we would like to provide 'no, more weight on that certification. Okay, abangan po natin kasi may iniintay lang po kaming, news, okay? At once that news come in, we will be giving 'no, all our monthly series will have a monthly certification. Kaya lang yan iniintay namin Miss Teacher Manolita White yung news na yon para meron namang may ano 'no, parang may weight 'no, hindi lang tayo
Oo,
nagpa-certify ng monthly
correct.
dahil gusto natin, para meron po kayong benefit on that one. Okay, so abangan niyo po 'yun, Teacher Manolita White, okay? Ay, um, Teacher Lord Lena, we will no comment on that one. No, wala Teacher May, we can't promise that there will be none, but there could be no, we'll just see. So we're just
Yeah,
waiting, hintay lang po tayo 'no, okay? Good things are ano, are coming our way, don't worry. Yeah,
yeah.
when we're working hard on that one. Okay? Especially po pabalik na tayo sa face to face. So baka mag face to face training na rin po kami, okay?
Yun, no?
Soon. Okay? At malay mo magkaroon ng national conference no by kaagapay dito sa court. We'll
Yun, no?
see. So teachers, see you on Saturday. Maraming salamat. Okay? Pahinga po tayo and stay negative, stay healthy. Stay negative in COVID-19, stay positive in life, and stay healthy. Prayers to all of you, no? Our teachers. Okay? Salamat po. Paalam.
Bye!